Hey, I'm Mike.
Hey, I'm Ethan.
I watched the first half of The Mummy.
I watched the second half of The Mummy.
And this
is the other half.
Bombs away!
Hey, Trujillo! You're on the wrong movie!
You watched the wrong part of the movie. No, Ethan, not that.
We got all the actors!
You spitulets! Oh, what a great movie that is. If only that was a movie we watched for the podcast.
If only that was a movie we watched for the podcast. Unfortunately, both of us have watched the 1999 version of The Mummy
so many
countless times.
It's like burning our brain.
Our millennial brain rot is loving that movie.
Yep.
Great movie, great fun action flick.
Incredible film, like so fun, it's funny, scary, like action, adventure.
Keeps moving.
You just don't see
Great
movies
characters.
like that anymore. Yeah.
So now what you get is you get franchises, baby.
Yes,
you
baby.
get some starts with some franchises.
You get an entire cinematic universe based off the Universal monsters.
And you know what? It never came to be because this
Never
movie bombed
did.
so fucking
This
hard.
is what I want to see. It's honestly amazing to see something like this exist. Like the movie opens with the Universal logo, and then the camera moves around the Earth, and it says the Dark Universe, and it's like the dark side of the Earth.
What's funny is aren't
basically.
they still releasing that theme park? Like they're still
Yeah.
going to do a theme park based around this?
Yes, they are.
It's probably a better choice.
I think so too.
I almost wonder if the theme park will be a big hit, and then they're going to
they'll
bring it back.
Yeah.
Because like it wasn't that long ago it stopped. It was in this movie came out in 2017, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a while
This is
ago.
pre-pandemic. Yeah.
The thing I know most about this movie is the amazing fuck up where they upload the trailer with no music or dialogue and only sound effects.
Just sound effects.
And it was amazing. And honestly just a fascinating look at like how bad things sound if it's just one track.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
And I feel like they like put it on YouTube, and then like I want to say they removed it at like a minute later, and it was too late.
It's too late. People already downloaded. They're like, we need this shit, which is good on the internet. And you can still find it, I think, if you look for it.
Well, you know what? We'll put a clip in the episode.
Pan. This is November 4, 09er.
What the hell?
No.
To this day, I still say pan, and nobody knows what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking
I know
about.
you know what I'm talking about.
But yeah, it is really kind of amazing to see. Like, it's so funny to go like, oh man, you know what's big now? The Marvel franchise, the cinematic universes. We as the Universal company need to put something out like that. What are we gonna do? What do we own outright?
This Fantastic Beast ain't holding it.
Yeah.
People don't seem to give a shit about Harry Potter much anymore.
And they're right.
Well,
Yeah.
The Mummy says trans rights.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, man. Yeah, the Mummy's all about, but it bombed too. So what are you gonna do?
I guess you're right.
But yeah, it's like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna make an entire universe based off of this, and it's kind of amazing. They got like Tom Cruise to forward the whole thing, to lead the entire thing. It's written by the guy or co-written by one of the guys that did like the Mission Impossible movies. He directed some of those. He wrote like the new Top Gun movie. It's like you see all these people like behind this kind of thing, and it's just like, god damn, like you just absolutely could not like. It's a failure. It's a massive failure.
Look at Marvel movies, man. They got like huge, like interesting directors behind them, and they still are like just so
bland,
focus tested to death, shit like that, to like appease everyone. And I don't know. I think in some ways I was surprised. This movie, I was expecting the worst.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fine.
It's just boring.
It's
Yeah.
And sometimes it has some good moments. It's some cool things. And there's some interesting setups for what could be maybe an interesting universe.
Are you talking about Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe popping in. We love a good.
He's
Jekyll.
the best part of this movie, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's more like because like obviously you shouldn't be comparing movies. But man, when you compare this to the original Mummy movie, like, oh my God.
You mean 1999, right?
Yeah, sorry.
So the thing that's weird is this is a reboot of that movie.
Yeah.
Because like I was like, oh, they're doing like the old Mummy, you know? But then we had the at a Halloween party, we had the old Mummy on the background, and I did not really watch it, but I came in once and I saw someone using like blackface.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, oh. Oh, so they can't really reboot that one, I imagine as well. But I was surprised how much of a reboot, and it was just like seeing homages to that movie felt weird.
They're like, what homages?
Well,
not a lot of my half of the movie.
mean, even like just parallels, I guess. Like, for example, Jake Johnson's character is like basically Benny.
Right, but he's dead.
But he's the same vibe though,
Yeah,
right?
I
Like
guess
he
that's
sells
true.
himself out for the mummy.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't really sell himself out. Like, this is the thing I hate about this movie. When you do compare it to the 1999 Mummy movie, it's like, that is like Benny selling himself out to the mummy is a character choice, right? He made that choice because he's a coward.
Yeah.
Jake Johnson, Vale is the guy's name.
Yeah, Sergeant Vale.
Sergeant Vale. He was like, he died and was cursed. He had no choice. This was not a choice he made. You know, it's like it's completely different. I feel
interesting. So I didn't know his origin, so I just assumed it was like that.
I feel like there's so many like. It's like
it feels like Circumstance is the movie. Like a lot of things are
missed opportunities.
The thing is a lot of the characters are just flat. And that's the
Oh
issue.
my God.
Is that like none of them really have any depth. Tom Cruise,
he's a
like
50-year-old man running around with like a 30-year-old woman, like
Yeah.
acting like he's fucking sexy and like cool and charming.
but like he's just kind of bland. He doesn't have any character traits that are really relatable. He's too much of a blank slate. Like the idea behind this movie feels like they're like, okay, the audience will put themselves onto their protagonist, right?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that they talked about in the Twilight movies, where it's like Bella is like such a blank slate,
Right.
Not even in the books that
Yeah.
like you can.
She
you
should
know,
be a blank slate so that all like girls and women reading this book can like immediately put themselves on
exactly
her. Yeah.
when it's like, I mean, I don't think audiences want that as much because the thing that's more relatable is characters who actually have wants, needs, motivations. And motivations beyond just I don't want to be a cursed mummy thing.
Yeah.
Like obviously not that, but like
well, that's I totally agree with you. And this is the annoying thing about the movie machine, which is like the way that plots work is you have characters that want something, and then you have a thing, usually the antagonist, that's stopping them from achieving that thing that they want. And like if you have a character that doesn't want anything, or the thing that they want is like super surface level and uninteresting, then it's like, what are you even fucking watching the movie for?
Absolutely. I mean, you saw that what was it, the post about Pixar where it's like movies like Turning Red and Luca were too like personal and felt too real or whatever bullshit. And it's like, instead we're going to make it to appeal to the broadest audience possible. And it's like, when you do that, like every person on Film Twitter obviously knows this, but so many other people know this. It's just like, just because it's a broad audience and like it doesn't come from the heart, like people can sense that. People can read when it doesn't feel like you're writing from something, you know?
Yeah.
And you can have big budget movies, big blockbusters, and still write compelling characters.
Yeah.
And audiences can snip that shit a mile away. That's why this shit bombed.
The Mummy, 1999 The Mummy is a good example of doing this, where it's like, these are actual characters. O'Connell is like a real person, feels like a real person.
Yeah, he's a weird little scumbag guy who's trying to get away with everything and doesn't want to, and like
but he's
just
got a
trying to
heart of
escape
gold.
but he's trying to escape his past.
Yes, exactly.
You got Evie
is a real person.
She's very interested in things, and she's very smart, and she's a librarian, and she has dreams about like living up to her parents' name.
Yes.
All that's very interesting and very simple. Benny's a coward.
Yeah.
Her
like
brother's a goofball.
Yeah.
That basically is like not taking anything seriously and never gets taken anything seriously, but he eventually finds a way to make himself feel serious.
And then
these aren't even like this. Look, I love The Mummy. It's not the best. It's
but
not
that's
art.
That's exactly. But that's what's so annoying when you see a movie like this, where it's not even attempting to be that. You know,
Yeah.
it's like this. It's like it's not. I don't know if it's. I don't want to say it's not hard. Obviously, it's hard to do these things.
Oh, totally.
But it's like look at another movie that can do this thing, and it's like, why are you not even trying to attempt something like that?
I think the thing is they're like trying to set up this, and Marvel movies have the same issue, which is they want to show scale as being the crazy thing, right?
Right.
And like I feel like the scale of being a crazy thing ended when the movie 2012 came out. Excuse me. Well, 2020 as well.
Well, 2020.
Scale
Yeah, 2012.
changes.
Yeah,
but 2012 came out. It's like cool seeing something big explode
Yeah.
and seeing like billions of people die at once or whatever.
Right.
no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
People care about characters.
We lived through a pandemic, goddammit.
Yeah.
We've already seen billions of people die.
Exactly. And you know what? No one fucking cared. They're like, whoa, you know what? If you had COVID, just go back to work after a day or two.
Yeah,
it's fine.
We care about people. We care about human beings and humanity. And so, yeah, we're gonna watch people like O'Connell and Evie, and and all these other characters. And one of the other things, and this is what really fucking pisses me off about this Mummy movie, is one of my other favorite characters in the original Mummy movie is, oh my god, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. He was the dude that was looking out for the mummy.
Oh, I know exactly who he is. The guy with the long hair.
Yes, the sexy dude with the long hair.
Sexy.
Oh no.
Ahmed Fair?
Oded Fair is the name of the actor.
Is the actor.
Yeah.
I can't remember his actual
But the fact that we can remember the actor is pretty great too.
We know exactly him. He was just like
Ardeth Bay was the character's name. I would
never
have
get
got
that. Yep. I don't know anything about that shit.
I feel good that I remember his name. But yeah, that guy. He is such a good example of what this movie is lacking.
But we remember him.
We remember him and we like him. And a good example of that is like at first you're like, oh, what's this fucking dude's problem? Why doesn't he want us to fucking dig up a mummy? And then later on you're like, oh, he was fucking right for us not to dig that fucking mummy.
But he
up.
Also helps at the end.
Exactly.
He's like, my duty is to protect this.
In this movie, the movie opens with Tom Cruise just fucking walking in. He's like, it says like in modern day, like Iraq, he's just walking around and going like, I fucking want to excavate mummies. And there's all these fucking insurgents sitting around in this. We need to fucking drone strike him to get him out of the fucking city.
No!
Yeah. And it's like, imagine the perspective from them. Like, give them a character.
Also,
but no, they're faceless, nothing characters.
Doesn't make me feel like I like him. Does he really say drone strikes?
Sorry. So he doesn't get the drone strike. It's the other dude that drone strikes.
Russell Crowe? No.
Not Russell Crowe. What's his name?
There's a lot of military people in this name.
I hate how much fucking like American military
Colonel
shown in this
Greenway?
as well. Vale.
Oh, okay.
Jake Johnston's character.
Jake Johnston does it.
He's just like, I just want to fucking like just bomb this fucking shit. Like it's too scary, basically. But Tom Cruise is like, no, we're gonna go in there and then we're gonna get in a big fucking firefight with them. So ultimately, he doesn't. It's either drone strike.
So wild.
It's either drone strike or shooting them up. It doesn't matter to him. All he wants is to excavate the ancient Egyptian treasure, basically.
Yeah, I just realized that like the Mummy 1999 was a period piece, right?
Yes, and it's for the best, I think, as well.
It makes it feels weird putting like real geopolitical politics in something where you're like, I'm excavating a mummy. When it's just like, oh, that's what people did back in the day. They didn't realize how fucked up they were.
And even then, giving us that amount of space and distance from the time and going like, oh, it's just adventuring and like looting is not a big deal. It's like, even if you can separate yourself, the movie even gives you a character, the Oded Fair guy, to just go like, oh, you know what? Maybe sometimes it's wrong to fucking do this shit. Maybe it's bad, you know?
Which is something even the Indiana Jones movies don't do.
Exactly. And that's what makes The Mummy such a good fucking movie. And so it's like, looking at these two movies, having them be at the same title, and it's like you have missed everything that makes that other movie special. And now it's like, and you're right, this isn't the worst movie in the entire world.
No.
It's goddamn boring. Like it's
just
boring.
very bland.
Yeah, it's bland.
And I think when you have so much choice, and this is also during the time when like Marvel was fucking hitting it, bro. You know, you're right before Endgame and all that stuff, and they're really setting up something big.
Yeah.
And to see this like fledgling movie just come out and just be so mid.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If this movie came out now, people might be more accepted because Marvel movies are pretty
probably,
mid.
Yeah.
They're like, I'll go with another fucking franchise. It seems fun. Whatever.
I want comfy franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, let me talk a bit about how this movie opens up. Movie opens. Where do you think the movie begins?
Well, you said it was in Iraq.
No.
Oh, the movie begins. Oh, we got a flash. Well, if I'm thinking about the original Mummy, we're in ancient Egypt.
Yes,
baby.
right. You show in ancient Egypt, you give some background to where the mummies began. We start in ancient England.
Oh.
And we see a bunch of Templar knights.
Oh.
And they're bearing one of their Templar knight guys with a little red ruby. And then we flash forward to modern day England, and we see there's a big gravesite that's being dug up to make way for an underground like tube station. And they found dozens of gravesites all over England, full of old Crusaders and Templar knights who invaded Egypt.
So Templars, okay.
Well, the Templar knights, the English Crusaders, same fucking bullshit.
No, I get it.
And then Russell Crowe shows up, and he takes over the gravesite, and he's like, "I'm gonna tell you, audience, about ancient Egypt." And so then we now flash back to ancient Egypt. I don't know why we needed to know about all that other shit.
We had to ever handhold. Well, you know, the Templars are coming to play later.
I'm assuming so. It'd be fucking weird if they introduced them for no other reason. But yeah, so we now flash all the way back to ancient Egypt, and we are met with Princess Ahmanet. Thank you. Princess Ahmanet. And she was supposed to rule Egypt. She was going to be the queen of Egypt. But then her dad, the pharaoh, had a son, which means now she can no longer be the queen. Immediately, the son is going to be the new pharaoh.
Okay.
And so she made a pact with the god of death. I believe his name is Set or Seti.
I thought it was Seth.
Seth MacFarlane.
I think it's Seth, honestly.
I think it's Set, but okay. So she made a pact with the god Death, and she turns into a spooky monster, and she kills her dad and her little baby brother. And then she says she's going to bring the god of death to life in mortal form by killing a man.
It is Set. You're right.
Thank you. Set MacFarlane.
Set MacFarlane.
And day that all you see is violence and movies and mummies on TV. But she stopped before she can kill this man and bring the god of death to mortal form. She stopped, and she's mummified alive. Just like in the original 1999
Do they throw scarabs on her?
movie. No, they don't. Honestly, the mummification scene's not as spooky as the other one. Which, honestly, in general, I don't feel like this movie's all that scary in general. Like, there's a couple scary, like, little shots of spooky mummy, but other than that, it's more like an Endgame kind of.
They turned mummy into mommy. Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, look, we had a hot man mummy in the last movie. We're gonna have a hot lady mummy in this one. You know what? All right.
The thing is as the one thing that they carry over to this movie is the bisexual energy in this movie is quite strong, and it's
is it
with her?
With her, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
With no one else. With zero anyone else. But only with her.
Whenever I see like bisexual awakening was the mummy, it's always like
it's both of them.
It's like and
the mummy as well.
No, well, Imhotep and what the fuck is the guy with the long hair? They got the long hair. That we talked about. No, not that guy.
Oded Fair.
Oded Fair. Yes.
Yeah.
All in that like four.
Evie, all of them.
This one is just Ahmanet, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess
that's all you got.
Yeah.
I mean, who's looking at fucking like?
Who's looking at Jake Johnson and being like, yeah?
He looks so spooky, but not in a scary way. More
Tom
like
Cruise. Tom Cruise is fucking 50 or whatever. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. He's
the lady in this movie. She's from Malignant. That movie.
Yeah. Jenny. What's her name?
Her name is Jenny.
Yeah, Jenny.
How annoying is that? Why can't she have a cool name?
Jenny is forever ruined by Forrest Gump in the movie.
True.
Like I always am just like, yep.
Just like give her like Evie is a cool name.
Yeah.
Evie's a very cool name. Jenny's like a little girl with pigtails.
Yeah. And that's how she acts. Like, I don't know.
She's a nothing character. Anyway, we now flash forward to current day Iraq. And we are introduced to Tom Cruise, and we're just going to call him Tom Cruise, right? And Vale, who's his friend.
I'll say his actual name just so the audience knows. Is Nick Morton.
Nick? His name is Nick?
His name is Nick.
Okay.
I've said it a few times. And
so
I was like,
he says...
What I tell you, we are not looters. We are liberators of precious antiquities.
And it's like, just say that straight into the audience so that we don't hate him, I guess, you know?
Weird. Okay.
And so they're looking for something for a guy named Henry, which I later find out is Russell Crowe's character. Do
you know Henry's last name?
So I've had this spoiled for me. Yeah. I have had this spoiled. Can I spoil it for the audience, or should we wait?
Go ahead.
He is Dr. Jekyll, Henry Jekyll.
He's Henry Jekyll.
He's Henry Jekyll, and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Okay.
So also the reason they're there is because there is a haram down there, which can either be translated into treasure or curse, and of course, Nick or Tom Cruise is only interested in it for the treasure. So he's like, I'm gonna go down there. So he fucking cut.
So it's like a 50-50 chance if it could be treasure or curse.
He's just like, it's obviously going to be treasure. And then Vale's like, no, it could probably be a curse. And he's like, nothing. There's no such thing as curses. Just go down there and get the gold.
Everyone in a movie says that.
Of course. And so Tom Cruise and Vale, his friend, is like, I don't fucking want to go down there. It's dangerous. Let's just fucking drone strike it. And then Tom Cruise is like, no, we're going to go down there and get in a firefight and murder a bunch of people instead. And then Vale's like, I'm not going to do it. And Tom Cruise is like, okay. So then he cuts Vale's water supply. So now he has no choice but to go with him, which is a really shitty thing to do.
That's the thing, is like, he's just such an awful character. And I think he's supposed to be quote unquote redeemed, but the way he redeemed himself is like so bad.
And like, this is, again, you shouldn't be comparing two movies as far as like, this is like good movie, this is bad movie. You should go like, okay, why does the original Mummy work so well? Because you're right, like O'Connell's a cad, right? O'Connell's kind of like a sexist, like machismo kind of dude who's sort of a dick, right?
Yeah.
But like when we first are like introduced to him, we see him like try to save Benny's life. You know, we see him. He's like working for like a militia or whatever. But like we see like certain positive aspects.
Well, like
of him when we first
immediately
meet
as
him.
soon as you see him kind of being a cat and kind of being someone who doesn't believe in like the goodness of humanity, it's like that's because he saw some crazy fucking shit in Egypt.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason for it. Like we don't know why this guy just starts off as an asshole.
He's also in prison as well when the second time we meet him and when Evie meets him.
Exactly.
Right?
So he's again disenfranchised with life.
Right,
so.
exactly. And so it's like, yeah, he's and also where's fucking Tom Cruise? He just fucking like whistles like through life, just like, yeah, I'm just gonna fucking walk in and murder a bunch of insurgents.
Yeah, I don't know anything about like his issues, I guess.
Anyway, so they're immediately under fire. Vale calls in for an airstrike, blowing up the small city, sending the insurgents with guns running away. But our two heroes are A-OK. Tom Cruise and Vale are A-OK. Tom Cruise, the U.S. military shows up because they fucking bombed this like small city. And Tom Cruise he lies and says, look, we were only intervening because we heard that the insurgents had kidnapped civilian hostages. And boy, does all this really feel scary.
I've heard that before.
Yeah. Recording this in
mark your dates. This is June 6, 2024. We'll see what happens.
We'll see how that feels. Is using excuses of hostages.
There's hostages. Boy, you really can get away with like, I got hostages there. Why don't I just kill your entire I don't know, people?
And this is our hero giving this as a reason for why it was okay
Maybe
for them to go
wouldn't
there.
have done well.
Maybe not. But then he's like, but the civilians had luckily already left, so the bomb strike wasn't even a thing.
Oh, okay. Well, there is the difference.
Yeah, but it's also like there were no fucking civilians. You were just using this as an excuse to kill people. Anyway, so then the blonde lady shows up. What's her fucking name? Jenny shows up, and it's revealed that she and Nick had sex recently.
This guy
off camera,
fucking killing people, banging ladies,
banging broads.
Man, what a Tom Cruise move!
What a sexy
Tom Cruise
dude.
read the script and was like, in the first few lines, like, yeah, this sounds like me.
I was in Cocktail, so so basically what we learn is the little note from Henry was originally given to Jenny, and then Tom Cruise, after sleeping with Jenny, stole that note. And then was like, hey, treasure, let's go get the treasure, basically.
Oh, okay.
And what he was going to do is he was going to take the treasure
for himself,
and then sell it to Henry for like a really high price, basically.
Oh, he's a little stinker.
And this is another thing I hate. It's like we're supposed to think that Tom Cruise and Jenny like fucking like are hot for each other, but like let's see them like get to actually know each other. Like, you know, like
they barely interact.
That's so annoying.
They just seem. I had no idea.
I'm assuming they kiss each other at the end of the movie.
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, that's good to know.
The thing that's wild is that like I honestly had no idea there was any chemistry with them before, like at all.
There is none, I'll say. Like I didn't feel anything. I just felt like the movie was trying to get us to care about them. But I'm glad to hear that didn't happen. Anyway, so they go and investigate the massive gravesite under the ground because after the bomb strikes hit, there was like a big hole in the ground, and inside the hole they see like a giant statue, like a big head inside the hole. And so they go down to this hole. It's a massive, massive cavernous hole. And they find mercury dripping from the ceiling into a little canal and pulling into like a pool. And inside
this movie should have been called The Mercury instead of The Mummy. Like, let me tell you the amount of mercury.
I was gonna ask, is this more
mercury everywhere?
What is up with the mercury?
It stops the evil.
Oh, well,
that's all we gotta know.
Oh, all right, that's good to know. And when it gets too hot and cold, we'll know.
We'll know exactly how
what's
hot
going
it
on with
is
that
in
mercury.
Iraq. Yeah.
So and also like submerged in the mercury is the sarcophagus of the mummy. Jenny is taking it all very seriously, and she's like, I don't think this is a tomb. It's a prison because the mercury and also the mummy was mummified alive. There's no canopic jars, for instance.
Oh yeah.
There's no signs of like real mummification,
which
basically.
means like the whole ritual was there. It's just like, no, fuck this person, we're mummifying them.
Basically. And so the other guys, they just want to steal gold. So Tom Cruise causes the sarcophagus to accidentally lift out of the mercury, and then a bunch of camel spiders come and they crawl over everybody. Yeah.
Camel spiders?
Camel spiders. That's a real thing.
Okay. I thought they were fake.
Aren't they real? Are they not real?
I thought they were fake for some reason. I
would love to live in a world where camel spiders aren't real, but
I can't believe I'm Googling camel spiders right now.
Do
I
it.
hate this.
Are they real?
Okay, they're real, but I was thinking they were like way bigger. But
they're massive. Aren't they like the size of dogs?
No, they're not.
Like tiny dogs?
They're not that big. Well, I'll get you some camel spider facts in a second.
Okay, anyway, so they climb all over everybody. Tom Cruise is like, don't worry, camel spiders don't bite. And I'm like, doesn't matter. I want spiders climbing all over me. But one of them
they're
does.
About 5 to 6 inches.
Oh, I thought
So
they were way
they're
bigger.
yeah, they're not that big, you know. I mean, 5 to 6 inches is pretty good.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't want any kind of spider crawling all over me.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
what, I think 5 to 6 is a pretty impressive size for a spider. I think
I think that's average, but it's not impressive.
I don't know. I feel like it's pretty impressive. I think it's pretty good.
You know what they say? It's not the size of the spider. It's the motion of the bite. It's the size of the web.
Well, they fight with scorpions a lot. They're crazy. But I remember. You don't remember in like 2000? What was it, like 2000?
Yeah, I remember this photo of like the
photo of like the. But it's two spiders
army.
biting each other.
Oh, I thought that was just one big spider.
That's what I thought. But if you look at it closer, it's two spiders biting each other.
Okay, yes, we all know this photo of like the army people.
You know, in Iraq, they're like, "Isn't Iraq crazy? There's big camel spiders there, and they're fucking huge."
Well, okay, the camel spiders in the movie are that size.
Okay.
And then one of them.
Well, I mean, scarabs also are like juiced up in the first one.
Oh, of course. So Vale does get bit by one of the spiders, and then later on ends up dying, and I guess is cursed by the spider bite. I don't know how. I don't know if that's explained in your half of the movie, but that happens.
Interesting that the spider bite did that.
Yes.
That's how he gets cursed?
Mm-hmm. The spider bites him in the neck.
There is no explanation for
okay.
that. That's fucking dumb.
It is, and then while they're all sort of standing there and the sarcophagus lifts out of the mercury, Tom Cruise looks at the sarcophagus and is immediately transported into a Calvin Klein commercial where he sees a vision of the mummy lady saying,
"She's hot, dude."
Yeah, and she's like, "You set me free, my chosen." And then she kisses him, and they're in like the desert. And then he like flashes back to normal. He's suddenly back there, and the military showed up, and they're like, "Hey, why is your pants wet?" They don't really say that. The military is like, "Hey, we're leaving, so let's haul the sarcophagus out and get it out of the ground via helicopter." So they load it into a large cargo plane. So the sarcophagus, Tom Cruise. For some reason, also Jenny's there. I don't really know why. I don't know how she has clearance for this. And then Vale's also in the giant cargo plane. And fucking Tom Cruise is like, "Hey, you're welcome for finding the sarcophagus." And she's like, "Fuck you." Like, she doesn't really say it, but I'm like, "Fuck you, dude." Like, she would have found it anyway. So they bicker about how long they had sex, and no one is paying attention to fucking Vale, who seems to be dying. He's just like curled up in a little corner and like turning gray. And then
why is he dying again?
Because of the bite.
Oh yeah, he got bit. Oh, wait, you said Tom Cruise got bit too.
Nope. Sorry, no. Tom Cruise did not get bit.
How did he get the curse again?
I'll tell you.
So he hasn't got the curse yet?
Not yet.
Okay, I misheard you. I thought I heard
Well,
that.
I think he got the curse because he was transported to that Calvin Klein commercial where he saw the mummy.
That's what I'm saying. How did he get transported to the Calvin Klein commercial?
By just looking at the sarcophagus. And
That's
also
it?
he was the one.
Oh, so he's chosen.
And he was the one that lifted the sarcophagus out of the mercury.
Okay,
not on purpose or anything, but
Jake Johnson actually the one who got bit. Okay,
he
so
got
I thought
bit.
so.
Sorry,
no, that's fine. It might have been my fault.
No, it was my fault.
No, it was my fault.
Okay.
No, it was my fault.
All right. You said it on me.
Okay.
So anyway, Vale is up and he kills the colonel and he's about to kill and stab Tom Cruise, but then
he's cursed.
Yeah. And then Tom Cruise so everyone's pointing guns at Vale, and then Tom Cruise is like, "Don't shoot at him!" Like a bunch of like army guys like pointing guns at him, and Tom Cruise is like, "Don't shoot at him!" And then Jenny's like, "We're in an aircraft. If you shoot at the aircraft, a big hole is gonna get lodged in the aircraft and it could go down." And then everyone's like, "Okay, that's a smart idea," but that doesn't stop Vale, Jake Johnston. Jake Johnston or Jake Johnson?
I think it's Jake Johnson.
All right. So he's still fucking coming for Tom Cruise, about to stab him. So Tom Cruise just takes one of the army guy's guns and shoots him. And I'm like, just fucking let the guy shoot him.
You told him not to.
Yeah. And so he shoots him like 3 times.
That's
and one of the bullets does pierce the hull of the ship. But it doesn't actually do anything. And then a bunch of birds come and they take the fucking plane down.
Oh, yeah.
And then comes the scene from the trailer, baby. Which
Pan.
This scene was actually really cool. Like, I kind of liked how it was shot. I think they shot in like real like zero gravity or something.
Yeah.
Like, it looked pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
It was pretty cool.
I mean, it's hard to really pay attention to the one trailer I saw of the movie, so I understand. Yeah,
this was a pretty good shot. And then so the plane's going down. So Tom Cruise attaches a parachute to Jenny, and she flies out of the airplane, and Tom Cruise is still in the plane as it's falling down, and he's just like, "Rah, rah, rah," and then it crashes, and Jenny is brought to identify the body, and somehow Tom Cruise, and he fell out of the ground. The door is open. You see right next to him the ground approaching. Somehow he's not fucking mush soup. Like, he's completely intact.
He's the chosen one.
And he wakes up in a little body bag, but he should be dead. But he's awake and he's alive.
Okay.
And Vale is there too. And
imagine packing that up. You're like, oh wow, this person fell from the sky. He's like a whole person. He's
yeah,
dead.
Seems fine.
Okay, I guess we'll pack him away. He's dead, but don't know why.
And I thought maybe he could like regenerate, but no, I don't think that's what it was. I think he's just normal and totally okay.
Got that curse protection.
I guess so. So he can see Vale, but nobody else can see Vale. It's sort of like an American Werewolf in London thing, where like you can see your best friend who is like decomposing in front of you.
Interesting. I did not realize that he wasn't a real person.
Well, he was a real person, but
right,
now,
right. But I didn't realize he wasn't alive in my house.
No, he's dead.
Okay, that kind of explains a lot.
He's a little ghost. So there was an investigation at the crash site. I don't know when this investigation is happening. If it was supposed to happen after the crash or like when after the crash it happened. Like I don't know, but either way, they're investigating the crash site. But the sarcophagus is open and it's empty. And a couple of randos investigating the crash site get their life sucked out of them. And the mummy regenerates, and they become her slaves.
Oh, and the mummy's all crusty, but now she's probably looking kind of less crusty?
She's looking a little less crusty, but she doesn't have a face yet. She doesn't have a face until year half of the movie.
Okay.
So Tom Cruise is in a bar with Jenny, and he's just fucking drinking like crazy. And she's like, hey, something fishy is going on. I think we've angered the gods. And Tom Cruise is too busy looking at his rotting friend in the corner of the bar. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go talk to him. So he apologizes to Vale for shooting him 3 times. And Vale's like, bro, you're cursed. I'm cursed. Whatever the mummy tells you to do, just do it. Like, just listen to her so that neither of us can be cursed anymore, basically. Okay. That's what you got to do. And Tom Cruise is like, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden, and they're talking in like the bathroom because they need a little bit of privacy. And then the bathroom door opens and they're in the girls' bathroom. Isn't that so funny?
That's the whole joke.
That's the joke.
Oh, okay.
So then
I thought maybe the mummy would have showed up then.
That would have been
like, oh, my bathroom.
She's like, does anybody need any toilet paper? And then she's like, got her little.
Oh yeah. She's just like unreal. She spins around a bit.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
got like a whole 2-ply. She's like the new Charmin bear.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. She's the Charmin bear.
That's the new advertising they should really get into. Is that like,
rather than bears, being
bears should be like old mummies.
Yeah,
like
that's
mummies
right.
are wrapped in toilet paper. I'm sure like
there's got to be a Charmin bear commercial where one of them is a mummy. Like comes out as a mummy, and then they like it's like a Halloween episode,
Dude, if they have
the Halloween episode of the commercial,
the Halloween,
yeah,
well, Halloween season, yeah.
Sure. Anyway, so Tom Cruise immediately fucking like bursts out of the bathroom because he's like, I'm in the women's bathroom, and he's in an alleyway. And there's a big ambush where of rats and the mummy. They ambush Tom Cruise in the alleyway.
I'm always saying ambush people with the mummy and rats.
And he can't get out. This is the funniest shit to me because they try. Right now, the mummy's still like a little hobbling mummy. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you can run away from that shit. Like, it's nothing scary about the mummy.
Well, I mean, the rats are pretty scary.
But the rats are the reason that he can't get away. Is the rats just fucking like crowd all over him.
I think the rats are a late addition.
I think
Originally,
so.
it was probably going to be the mummy, but then they're like,
come on. This is embarrassing that he can't escape the mummy.
There, yeah.
Tom Cruise is watching the movie and he's just like, I can beat a mummy.
I can jump on Oprah's couch and I can run real fast.
I am a Scientologist. We can do anything.
Ascended.
Yeah.
I was going to say attenuated, which isn't a real word.
That's not a word either.
But it feels right.
Yeah, it feels, and that's what Scientology is all about.
Yeah,
feeling right.
Yeah.
So anyway, but it's all hallucination. He almost got hit by a car. And so Tom Cruise tells Jenny, like, hey, Jenny, what? Jenny, what? Jenny, you know what?
Jenny, what?
Jenny, what? Jenny, what?
Jenny, what?
Hey, Jenny, you know what? You're right. The mummy is real, and I'm cursed.
So wait a second. Why is he still hanging out with Jenny?
I don't know.
Okay.
Jenny's the one that's hanging out with him, if anything. Jenny's because I think Jenny
knows he's got some shit going on.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because I mean, fucking dude fell from the sky and doesn't have a scratch on him, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
And she works with later on we realized that she works with
Dr. Jekyll.
With Dr. Jekyll. You know, and so I think she's like, something weird happened. And I've got a weird boss. Maybe they might know each other. Maybe they want to get to know each other. You know what I mean?
Sure. My boss has anger issues too.
Yeah, exactly. So Tom Cruise is like, I'm going to take you to where the sarcophagus is. So they drive to where the sarcophagus is. But then Jenny's like, that's where the crash was, over there. And Tom Cruise is like, no, the sarcophagus is over here. And they like split up. And then he's suddenly in a church and he's held down by a bunch of zombified henchmen. And then the mummy shows up and she's got a face now. And she starts grinding on top of him all sexily. And then Jenny shows up, like walks in on this whole
Get
thing
off my
happening.
man.
And it's pretty funny. This is honestly the only funny part of the entire movie. She walks in, sees 4 zombie henchmen and a mummy grinding on top of Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise looks over at Jenny, and Jenny looks over at Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise is like, Jenny, help.
That feels very old Mummy vibes.
Honestly, it did actually. It was like, this is actually really great. And then there's a big fight scene that's boring. And they escape. They narrowly escape. And Tom Cruise takes the sacrificial dagger that was in there that the mummy had. And this is a dagger that they've been looking for millennia. They cannot find this dagger. But now they've got it. And Tom Cruise is driving away in a little truck. And Tom Cruise is like, I'm trying to escape this mummy. And Jenny's like, well, it seems like you actually led us to the mummy. I feel like she can maybe like manipulate you too. And he's like, no, I don't think she could manipulate me. And then they like look in front, and he is driven back to where she is. And he's like, oh shit, she can manipulate me.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. And so then he drives away again, and a bunch of zombie henchmen come in and attack the truck that they're in, and it sends the truck careening down a hill.
Where do these zombie henchmen come from? Just the ground? Where do they come from?
These are people that the mummy has found and has stolen
the life out of.
So
that's how they become slaves. Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So now
Got it. Car. So I just turn on this movie. I see a car falling. I see Tom Cruise fall out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny seems okay. And then I'm like, why are we in a forest?
Right? This is in Egypt.
This is in Egypt.
Yeah.
We're just hanging out in a forest here. What's
This is
going
some
on?
fucking bullshit.
Yeah. He gets hit by a tree branch. And then, he gets a tree branch. Excuse me.
He gets hit by a tree branch.
Yeah. Well, he's about to get fucked up. And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna go smack the mummy. And he goes up there, and Jenny's like, kick her ass.
Mm-hmm.
And then he smacks the mummy. The tree branch breaks, and the mummy just fucking kicks the shit out of him. He flies through
Nice.
the air. Basically, should be dead.
Right, but he's not for some reason.
He's not for some reason. Now I realize that's normal. I was just
Yeah.
like, this is a cartoon ass movie, but now I realize that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But then a bunch of military folks appear out of nowhere
Yeah.
and just start shooting her full of harpoons, and they like bring her down like a fucking monster in Monster Hunter.
Whoa.
Like, it's weird.
How are you feeling about this?
I'm just like, what is happening? And so far, I don't have any feeling to the original.
We're in
movie at all. I'm
we're
just
in like
we're
a British forest.
People are using harpoons.
Yeah, yeah.
So then Tom Cruise kind of gets captured and taken to a weird room where and walked around, and there's like mummies with like things in tubes.
Mummies with things in tubes.
There's like a bunch
mummies
of
in tubes?
mummies in tubes and like weird, like mummified like creatures in tubes.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Okay.
I don't know. What do you call those like specimens
They're
that are in
tubes.
tubes that are like not really like they're not
Suspended
mummies.
animation?
Is that what they're called? When you go to like an old, like, I don't know, when you see like, oh, I'm going to a curiosity shop, and there's like, this is a rat in a jar, and it's suspended. What is that called?
I think that's called suspended animation.
That's an interesting term.
I don't know, man.
Okay, sure.
It's a tube.
Yeah, you're right. Tube.
Yeah.
Anyway, 2 people are there,
Uh-huh.
and he's like, oh, this is weird, and it's like all futuristic and stuff. There's like there's like some skulls with vampire teeth, and you're like, oh shit, it's getting crazy. He's in a weird
These are all
spot.
hints for the future
Exactly.
dark
I'm
universe
getting into the
movies.
franchise mode, baby.
Yeah.
So he goes to a room with a bunch of like weird swords, and Russell Crowe appears. Says he's like, I know everything about you, Tom Cruise. I am Dr. Jekyll. Oh, I'm here to stop infectious diseases. And during this time, he's pulling out like a what do you call those things?
His dick.
No.
Oh.
It's like this massive injection device to inject himself full of stuff.
Oh, I was going to say massive injection device. Sounds like a penis still. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. A syringe?
It's more than a syringe, but we'll say it's
okay.
super syringe
Okay,
for the
got
sake
it.
of it.
Right.
It's got like cartridges and stuff. It's very elaborate.
Cartridges.
It's very fancy. Like, I don't know. Try to picture a fucking
A big syringe.
How would you inject yourself in the Marvel universe? Full
Got
of
it.
something? Yeah.
Got it. That's what it
see,
is.
Exactly.
Got it.
He's like, let me tell you a story about a patient of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And he was great until his brain, like, he got hit with a curse, and it manifested in multiple ways, multiple personalities, one might say. And one personality had an insatiable desire for chaos, and his face starts changing. It's all weird, and he has to inject himself full of stuff. And he's like, whew.
And then Tom Cruise is like, "Are we talking about you?"
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Luckily, it doesn't become that obvious, but he's like, I want to show you something. So he opens the door.
How did Mr. Hyde look? in all this?
He
He looks like the Hulk.
No, not even close. I'm trying to think of a comparable face that I could think of, but I can't really think of anything because it's so generic.
Okay,
like it is basically he gets a little bit bigger and he gets veins, but he gets kind of like weird yellow eyes.
Okay,
and I think like Bane after he does his Bane juice,
like
in a cartoon.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how it feels, but not as big. He doesn't get as big.
Okay.
So he gets to a room, and there is, of course, the mummy. The mummy with all chained up and has a bunch of mercury being pumped in. And
not the mercury.
And Russell Crowe's like, prodigium, monstrum vel prodigium. It means a warning of monsters. By the way, Jenny works for us, if you didn't know that already. We're in the business of containing evil. That's what we do. And this is basically the shield of the show.
Of course. And he was the
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury, that's right.
But he has his own demons. Just like Nick Fury, I guess.
Nick Fury's got his own demons. Exactly. He doesn't have an eye.
Yeah, that's it. He's like, but by far this evil is the most ancient we've ever encountered. We're embalming her with mercury. They're just basically pumping in mercury in there constantly to keep her like subdued. He's like, all right, what we're gonna do is dissect her eventually when we figure out how to break this curse. And it's like, Tom Cruise, you have a curse. You're the vessel for the ultimate evil. And then the mummy starts talking, and she's like, the curse will never be broken. But she says it in ancient Egypt. She's like, my chosen was murdered, and you're gonna take his place. And then suddenly she starts speaking English, which I think is kind of crazy that she starts speaking English.
She took Duolingo.
She really did. That's the side effect of mercury is you can learn other languages very quickly.
So what did she say?
She's like, I'm not going to kill him. I'm going to give him eternal life. And he walks up to her and is like, I know your backstory. I know your lore, girl. You killed your father and like his wife and his child. And she didn't kill his wife. You know what she says?
What did she say?
Those were different times.
You could do blackface back then.
Yeah, it was totally okay. But if you have the power of life and death, and I'll be your queen. And like at this point, she's almost a fully human person, so she's looking sexy. But half her face is still kind of missing.
Oh, okay, so
even sexy.
I was gonna say.
Hey. But then the flash when he's telling her all of this, it's like it's in a flash
back forward.
It's not a flashback, a vision would say.
Yeah, the Calvin Klein vision.
Exactly, the Calvin Klein vision. And but in the middle of her saying like, "You'll be my queen, just give in," is Russell Crowe and Jenny up here off to the side, and they're like, "Don't do it, stop it." And he's like, "Okay," so he wakes up. And Jenny's like, dude, she's like using you, man. You're a good man. You saved my life by giving me the parachute. Which he didn't use the parachute.
He didn't. He died.
She did it.
That's right.
And he says, I thought there was another one. Which I thought was kind of...
That's pretty great.
That's a pretty good line, honestly.
I like that. I'm not a good man.
I'm not a good man. So then we cut to some dudes digging up some weird stuff and digging up a corpse with a red jewel, and this must be the Knights Templar.
Yes.
Which we find out the jewel is for the other half of the dagger.
Yes.
Like, boosts it.
It
powers it up. So that's why the Knights Templar got stolen or whatever to kind of keep
right.
it away from that. So this wouldn't have it again or something. I noticed the mummy has 2 irises. That's like the whole thing.
Yeah, we all have 2 irises, bro.
Iris? No, we don't. Well, okay. 2 irises per eye.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
they put this in all the promotional art and everything. But it's a pretty trippy effect. Not sure why she has it, but
I don't either.
It's pretty trippy, I guess.
Yeah.
So then, let's see. Jenny is able to talk to the mummy in her own tongue. She's like, I've studied the word of the old gods. And the mummy tells Jenny, I'm
gonna steal your man.
No, she says like, do you want to know? You talk to me because you want to know what happens after death. She's like, yeah, I do. And the mummy, of course, what do you think the mummy says?
Nothing.
No.
Oh.
That's too political or like religious there, Mike. You can't put this in a movie.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a huge
I'll
franchise.
show you.
She says, you'll see when I kill you.
That's so much work.
I know. So they get a call that they found the stone, and Jekyll's very happy about it.
Yeah.
And then let's see. And then she's like, "So what do you think?" The mummy's like, "So what do you think they're gonna do with your precious Tom Cruise now?" And she looks at the knife like, "Oh no," because it's like, "Oh, what are they gonna do?" Because this place clearly is evil a little bit. You know,
it's a little bit evil. It's run by Dr. Jekyll.
Well, it's not run by Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, that's true.
Dr. Jekyll's fine. Mr. Hyde is the problem.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So he's like, Dr. Jekyll's still fucking giving the tour for some reason. And it's like, "Welcome to the new world of gods and monsters." And he looks at the audience and says, "The Dark Pictures." What was the fucking
Dark Universe?
Dark Universe, whatever.
Yeah,
Dark Pictures.
Dark Pictures sounds cooler.
Dark Pictures is the that video game franchise.
Okay.
That Choose Your Own Adventure one.
Okay.
He says, Muscle Crowe's is going on. He's like, "Evil's around every corner. We either can wait for the day for it to arrive, or we fight it in advance. Certain sacrifices must be made for humanity. And one of that is, Tom Cruise, the way we're going to get you rid of your curse is, basically we're going to let her do her ritual and complete it, and then we're going to fucking kill you."
Oh my God.
So that way Set can never step forth with the
why not just somehow
with the dagger, I think.
I know. Okay, so he can do that.
Yeah, that's why they're looking for the dagger.
Okay.
That's why they're looking for the red jewel.
Right. Okay.
Whatever. So they use the dagger on that and kill him and basically sever the tie completely.
Got it.
Between that, so then Set can never come through. And then they'll blow him up. So then the mummy at this point, still has barely no powers, but she controls a little teeny tiny spider, much smaller than a camel spider, like a little tiny,
a little daddy long legs.
No, even smaller than that, because the legs are too big. You need a small little one.
Mommy short legs.
Mommy short legs. Exactly. Gets in there.
Yeah.
So it crawls into a dude's ear, and she starts controlling the dude. Some random guy working on I think it was probably the mercury stuff.
Got it.
But then Tom Cruise is hearing this thing about him getting stabbed and exploded and blowing up, and he doesn't like the idea. He's not too hot on it.
Right.
I
wouldn't be either, to be honest.
So Russell Crowe's about to take his little, his drugs here. He's gonna inject himself soon with his insulin, his anti-Hyde insulin.
Right.
And Tom Cruise is like, you don't need that. It doesn't need to be. You don't need to get a subsidy for this. You don't need any sort of money to make this cheap, right? So he takes it away and he's like, "Hold on a second. So you want to kill me?" He's like, "Give that. You don't know what you're doing, Mr. Tom Cruise. Give that back." He's like, No, it's fine. It's fine.
Psychology's bullshit, bro.
I think you need to know that, we need to. I don't want to die, basically. He's like, and Hyde's just like,
great point made.
He's like, he's starting to turn. He's like, "You need to run." And then all the other people in the room run out of the door, and they shut the door on Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise is locked in the door.
Good.
With
Mr. Hyde.
Mr. Hyde as he transforms, and they just start Hyde just starts beating the shit out of him. And Hyde, and he tries grabbing, Tom Cruise grabs Mr. Hyde's hand and puts it on the handprint thing to try to open the door, and it pops up Mr. Hyde. His handprint changes when he transforms, and they can tell. And Mr. Hyde's like, "They never let me out. They never do, but I always want to."
Yeah.
So then, by the way, during this time, just all this chaos is breaking up, right? They're stuck in his office, basically fighting with Mr. Hyde. And during this time, the Spider-Man turns off the man who's been possessed by a spider. Not Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire's not in here.
There's another crossover.
No, I wish. But no, he turns off the mercury and then pulls up an axe to try to free the mummy from the tubes and the chains.
I feel like there's probably just a button he could press,
It was a button he pressed for the mercury. No, this is a different. He stopped the mercury, so she's getting more powerful, but he's also going to free her from the chains.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's a better way to get her out than with a.
I mean, that's a good
axe.
I was going to say she doesn't know the button, but she knew the button to turn on the mercury.
So. Yeah, exactly. Either way, it doesn't matter.
Anyway, Mr. Hyde's telling him, "Hey man, I don't want to kill you, but let's work together because that other guy's gonna fucking kill you. So I mean,
I won't.
I'm a cool guy.
I'm a cool guy."
And then at this point, Jenny's like, "We gotta break into the office and save them." And it's like, why?
Fuck him.
Fuck this guy.
I mean, honestly, don't they want him to be dead anyway?
Well, they need him to die in a specific way. But Jenny likes him though, because I guess
because he had a hot dickin'.
I guess so.
Yeah, that's all. That's all it counts.
Not something I got. I thought she just.
I barely got it too.
So breaks in the office, doesn't really do anything. Eventually, she does get in there, but that's after the whole fight happens. And he eventually, Tom Cruise stabs him with the anti-venom. He turns back into Hyde.
Okay.
Or Jekyll, excuse me.
Yeah.
I always feel like Jekyll's the more, like, I feel like Jekyll should be the monster.
Jekyll sounds spooky.
Yeah, Hyde is just like, that's a normal name. But
Yeah, Hyde Park. We've seen a lot of Hydes.
Exactly. Hyde's very common, but Jekyll sounds so scary. Because it's like joking and jester-like. And
well, here's a way of looking at it, though, is like, this is a part of his personality that he'd rather keep hidden. Mr. Hyde.
That's a fun way of looking at it. I like that. Okay. So then breaks to the office and is like, okay, Tom Cruise, here's my new plan, Jenny says. Now that you've solved that, clearly his plan's not going to work. What we need to do is just destroy the stone. Then there's no ritual, no curse. It's just that easy.
Just destroy the stone.
Which is like, it seems too easy. So
how would you go about doing that? How do you destroy a stone?
I think you just smash it. I think there's not like...
And there's like a bunch of stones.
Well, it's the stone that they're excavating, the red ruby.
Yeah.
So, like, what do you mean smash? Like, why can't you smash it?
Because then it turns into a bunch of stones.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, it's less powerful then, right? Like, it doesn't have all this
I suppose so. Yeah, it just turns into a normal,
like, Mike,
stone.
when you smash a computer, it doesn't turn little computers.
Yeah, I guess so. But if you were to cut a pizza into slices, it's still pieces of a pizza.
It's not pizza pie anymore, though.
It's a pizza, though.
It's not pizza pie. You can't be like, here's a whole pie. It turns into a bunch of whole pies. You know, the
I see what you're saying by
like the fundamental
it diminishes,
the
right?
fundamental structure of it changes. You know what I'm saying?
No, it doesn't. It's still a pizza.
No, it's like slices. That's completely different. If you look at it, it looks completely different.
If you had a burger and you cut a burger in half, you're still eating a burger.
But it's not a burger. Like if I gave you a half a burger and said, "Hey man, here's this whole burger," you'd be like, "What the fuck?"
No.
Jenny's like, "We got this whole stone. Why don't we break this whole stone?"
Yeah, exactly.
It won't be the same.
It won't be the same stone.
Just like this
it'll
burger.
be other stones.
You could have half. It's no. She'd say, "Here's the half a stone. Won't do shit."
Okay.
It's kind of implied, Mike.
I guess you're right.
If you if you get half the oil and divide it in half, it's gonna have less power than a whole jug of oil.
Right. But it's still oil.
It's still oil.
Right.
It's still flammable, but not flammable enough to stop a curse. Obviously.
Okay.
Look, if you have a whole pizza curse, all right, and that whole pizza.
A pizza curse. That's what happens when you fucking eat it like
Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese.
What a terrible night to have a curse. The only way to stop Chucky from killing everyone is you have to give him a whole pizza. He will not accept slices of a pizza.
When you're like lactose intolerant, but you still eat a pizza. That's what a pizza curse is.
That's what a pizza curse is, exactly. So then the mummy, so the thing is the whole thing's in chaos. The mummy throws up a bunch of mercury. The mummy gets free and sucks the life out of just some random guy who's there. And now she's fully complete. She's back to herself.
Oh my gosh.
And so what she does is she's like, I don't know, Tom Cruise and Jenny are trying to run around. They're trying to find the gem. And she's like, I summoned the sands of Egypt to deliver him for me. And I think this is the coolest part of the movie is that it implies multiple things. So the sands, you're like, fuck, they're in like England or whatever still, right?
How is sands going to get all the way over there?
Well, all of the glass shatters.
Oh, and turns to sand.
It turns to sand.
That's pretty cool.
And I think that implies that they also got their sand from Egypt, which implies colonization.
Yeah,
which I'm like, that's kind of cool. That's kind of a fun
They straight up said that all these mummies in the subway were colonizers as well. You know? Yeah.
So
they're crusaders.
It's kind of fun.
Same shit. Yeah, that's pretty fun. Yeah.
So then it starts chasing Tom Cruise, and you get the whole scene with them running away from a big giant dust cloud with a face, just like the first movie. It's honestly a pretty cool effect, and this chase scene is pretty cool as they run around.
Okay.
Yeah, so then the people who are discovered the stone's like, oh, she's loose? Okay, lock the doors. So they lock the doors, I guess, in their like excavation
That'll
chamber.
stop her.
That'll stop her for sure.
Yeah.
Tom and Jenny run through the streets, and there's a sound of the face on it.
Tom and Jenny sounds so much like Tom and Jerry. And
it does.
I'm really imagining.
Okay, I'm sorry. I will use.
No, please say
no,
Tom.
I'm going to use his Christian name, Nick. Nick and Jenny. Running
Jenny.
through the streets.
Yeah.
And then I saw some random guys like, I know where the stone is. Let's go. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? It's Jake Johnson. I'd never seen him before until now.
Yeah, that's right.
He's like, I know where the stone is. Let's go. And so now I realize it's not real. That him being like, I know, let's go this way. And Jenny being like, okay, it's even weirder.
The movie also forgot that only Tom Cruise could see him. Yeah.
Ahmanet says never gonna let
never gonna
Jenny,
leave,
is
give
never
you
gonna,
up.
Is never gonna
Never
let
gonna
Jenny
let you
live.
down.
You can't save her.
Never gonna run around.
This is what Jake Johnson says.
Okay.
I'm ignoring your Rickroll. Folks in the tombs are like, oh shit, the mummies start rising.
It's Nick Roll.
And, it's the last podcast, folks. It's over.
Bombs away.
We've had a good time. Bombs away. We're bombing this podcast. Yep. So folks at the tombs have issues with mummies rising up from the grave, very similar to the first movie. Because Ahmanet's like, get up, bitches, work with me. And so, so she gets access.
It's like she's Taylor Swift, and they're her Swifties.
Exactly. The Swifties rise up.
That's right.
And then Ahmanet gets in a plane and flies
She gets in a plane?
She gets in a jet plane, her private jet plane, and flies from the museum over to the tomb.
Yeah. I was imagining this mummy lady.
The movie's ridiculous enough you could believe it.
I would believe it, yeah. Honestly, I'd be like, wow, that's really ballsy for this movie.
So she gets access to the tomb area. Everyone's dead because the mummies all killed them.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, all the mummies bow to her. Mm-hmm. And she grabs the stone from the corpse and puts it in the dagger. So shit's going down.
Shit is going down.
And then some random mummies. They're like in a subway and they're trying to like get away, our heroes.
Right.
And one random mummy just appears out of nowhere and like throws them through a brick wall into a bunch of water.
Damn.
And it's like, oh, Jenny, are you okay? Yeah, I'm here. And then Ahmet appears randomly in the water and grabs Jenny and swims away with her. So Tom Cruise is swimming towards her. Not running.
Right.
I've changed my verb. I'm sorry. Swimming through the city sewers with tons of mummies swimming behind him. To be honest, when I realize I don't give a shit about scenes of water. Unless you're...
I have said this for years. Water is not interesting.
It's boring. Unless you're James Cameron in The Shape of... Even then.
Yeah.
It's only interesting because there's like billions of dollars of effects used to make it look good.
Yeah.
And it's also in a fantasy planet.
Yes.
Not the sewers of England.
I agree completely.
It's very boring.
The minute a character is in a fucking scene full of water, I'm like, Snoresville.
Yeah, unless the water's going to drown them and kill them.
Yeah.
If they're just swimming around the water, I don't care.
I totally agree with you.
So anyway, he saves her, but then she gets dragged away by mummies. So
he didn't save her.
Not really. Cool. He eventually finds her. She gets drugged by mummies. But then
finds her again.
She saves her. By saves her, I mean her body is floating in the water. He picks it up, and then he's like, "Oh no, I think she's dead." But I saved her, and then her body gets dragged out by mummies. Okay. He's sad Jenny's dead. And the mummy is like, "Don't blame yourself. She was always doomed." Now all the mummies, she's like, "You're done," and dismissed. They all turn to dust. I don't know why you get your crew out of here. Like, keep your crew around.
And they're all going to turn to dust and water.
Yeah.
Like, keep them around.
So, they're in the main tomb area. He tries to run at the mummy to speed her up, and she just smacks him down. Big mommy move, let me tell you. I want to see this
big mummy move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see this kinky, freaky ship. Let's go.
Yeah.
So...
Kinky mummy.
Yes, exactly. Let's see. Boy, my notes are really not making sense. I was very bored by this fight.
You were very distracted by the mummy mommy.
I was distracted by the mummy mommy, so my notes said, she made he seems to like Jenny. He stabs her with something, then she just jams some shit in his side. Oh yeah, she tries attacking her, then yeah.
Right.
I don't know why she doesn't just use the mind trickery again.
Yeah, why not?
Because she's trying to convince him to do the thing again, but
she has control over him.
Just use the mind thing.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great because everyone who was got him out of that last one is gone
They're
now.
all dead, yeah.
And he's like, I'm sorry, babe, but we're just never going to happen. And he says, it's not me, it's you. And then she throws him, but he has the dagger now. While she was close to him, he's pickpocketed the dagger off of her.
Right.
And then he tries breaking the stone.
How?
He just starts smashing it around the ground.
Okay.
On the stone.
And stones are easily
Stone
breakable.
against another stone. It's simple, yeah.
Sure.
Well, it's not like a diamond. It's like a red ruby thing.
Ruby?
So it's pretty soft. You can break that.
Okay.
But then she says, wait, if you break the stone, you'll miss not being a living god. If you become a god, you can bring Jenny back to life.
Well, that's pretty great.
He's like, And he almost thinks about it.
But
then he's like, no. And then he just fucking stabs himself.
Whoa.
Which is
that's what she wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he does on his terms, so she doesn't have any control over it, I think.
Okay.
So then he reawakens. He dies basically and reawakens. He has double irises now.
Oh.
And he's possessed.
By Set.
And then he sees Jenny's dead bodies and gets flashbacks, but he's completely possessed. He's gone. He's just set right now.
Right.
But he sees all these flashbacks of her saying, I know somewhere inside you can be a good man. So then that, of course, makes him a good man. So he uses his powers to throw Ahmanet around and then grabs her face and then sucks all the life out of her and turns her into a crispy mummy. And then he goes over to Jenny and tries to wake her up.
And sucks the life out of her.
No, because her life isn't even there. So he screams a lot and turns into a demon. And then he just goes, and she wakes up.
Oh, that's all.
That's all it took. Yeah. That's all it took. But he had creepy teeth, so that was scary.
So he's a mummy now.
Yeah. And then she goes to
Tom Cruise is a mummy. That's just crazy.
And then she wakes up and she says like, I don't know. He screams, I don't know who I am. Don't get near me. As she walks over to him, I don't know who I am. I'm a creep. Get away from me. Yeah. She's like, well, will you save me though? He's like, I don't want to hurt you. I never wanted to.
I want to see this scene. This sounds awesome. Sounds like Tom Cruise is actually acting.
A little bit, yeah. And she also is like,
he doing a weird
I'm also
voice?
glad she got to see finally the other side of the veil. She got to see what it's like to be dead.
That's right.
Never
Veil.
Never comments on it though.
The guy's name is Veil.
And yeah, so then he's like, I'm gonna get out of here, and he escapes. And we get a monologue basically of Jenny being like, you were wrong. He gave his life to save me. He's a good guy. He didn't just turn into a weird demon. And then I wrote, Tom Cruise brings Jake Johnson back to life so they can run around the desert, which I realize now it's just a figment of his imagination. But he goes and it's like a weird demon. The evil tracking squad is like following Set or whatever this weird body of Set is, with Tom Cruise piloting Set's powers. They're walking around the desert. He's trying to look for a way to break the curse.
Right.
And it's just like a big, giant dust storm follows him wherever he goes. Him and his buddy,
Jake Johnson.
Does
he still look like a creep?
No, he looks normal now.
Oh, okay.
And then Jenny's like telling Dr. Jekyll like he could be our greatest ally, and she says sometimes it takes a monster to fight a monster.
And what does that even mean?
Well, it's like Godzilla, right? Like they got their own like monster Godzilla.
Well, what other monster is there to fight?
Well, there's more evil. Like you
like
saw those jars.
they're all taken care of.
But
it looks
clearly,
like
if those exist, there's more in the.
Like
you
what?
Never know.
Like
you got to go find them.
Like what? What are they setting up? What are they setting up?
I don't know, man. Something.
Is there nothing set up for the next movie?
It's probably Dracula or something. I don't know. There was no end credit scene.
Really?
No.
Well, that's shocking. I thought they were going to be like.
Well, they had Dr. Jekyll in there. They obviously implied there's just more stuff out there. So,
it's like, what is it? Dr. Jekyll will return in The Invisible Man.
They can't just copy the entire formula.
I guess not. But you could set up to another, like get us excited about the next movie, It's like, I wonder what else there is out there, some other monster. And then and they're in England, right? And then they just hear in the like distance,
ooh, that'd be good.
It's like, ooh, the werewolves or whatever.
Might be a little too on the nose though, maybe. But this movie's on the nose.
I was gonna say.
They already played their Jocko Jekyll hand.
This movie's pretty mid.
It's pretty mid.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's just fine.
Got some cool effects.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good for the most part.
It looks pretty bland, I think.
But I think the coloring just looks bland.
Yeah, that's true.
I think visual effects wise, it looks pretty good.
I like how the mummy looks.
The mummy looks cool.
Yeah,
I like how the mummy looks.
I mean, this creepy mummy. I don't see sexy mummy in my app.
Yeah, but your mind can put it together. But it's fine. It's I think the thing is like it sucks that this kind of sink there because I'd be kind of curious to see where they would go, but
I also don't want to see more movies in the vein of this. Like I want to see creepy, like scary movies.
Yeah, not like that's the thing is they worked off of the action franchise of The Mummy, which was not really that creepy, but it was a little scary at times.
Yeah.
It was
I think this
more
is
perilous, and this is just
action adventure. This is leaning more into like Marvel action,
Yeah, a little bit,
which is like
I did notice they had the same Book of the Dead. Did you notice that?
No, I never seen the Book of the Dead in my half
They had
the
the
movie.
same type of pretty much the exact same.
Really,
it's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Or it's also cheap because they probably just
had it. Yeah, like, no one's using this. Might as well use it again.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Reminds me of a much better film.
Mike.
Yeah, Ethan.
What the budget of this movie was between $125 to $195 million.
Jesus Christ!
How much money do you think it made at the box office?
$125 to $195 million.
This is the estimated budget.
I want to say it made $1 million.
No, you're so far off.
Wait, like that's too much?
Too low.
It's too low?
Too low.
Okay, it made $15 million.
No, Mike.
Still too low?
I'm going to tell you because you're never going to get it.
I'll
We're going to
never
be here all day.
Yeah, I will.
$410 million.
What?
This movie is a profitable movie.
This is not a bomb.
This is not a traditional bomb.
No.
But it bombed a franchise. And that's why it's here.
Yeah.
Which is even weirder. Right?
It was profitable.
Because it was profitable, but in the end, they're just like, you know what?
Let's not do this.
We're actually good. We're actually A-okay with like not doing this.
Maybe they were hoping for more of like a. I mean, I guess the money is all you would care about. But
I think it bombed mostly in North America, but did really well overseas.
In Egypt. Or maybe they cared more about like the critical reviews.
In South Korea, it says it grossed $6.6 million in its first day, which is the biggest ever debut for both Tom Cruise and Universal in the country.
Fuck. What the hell?
Opening weekend made $52 million in China.
Holy goddamn!
So I think it was already like, but I remember like, didn't they scrap it like super freaking quickly?
Yeah, man. I want to say like the movie came out, they posted a tweet, and then like the week or month afterwards, just disappeared from it forever. And that Twitter's still there, man. You can still see that tweet of
all the actors,
who were prepared. Like I think Tom Cruise, obviously, but I think like Johnny Depp was set up to be the Invisible Man.
But it's weird because like.
It was profitable.
I'm reading. Well, the thing is that says that, but The Mummy grossed $80 million in the United States and Canada, and $329 million in other territories worldwide for $410 million. Due to a combined production and marketing costs of $345 million, it was estimated the movie needed to gross $450 million in order to break even. So it's weird that the earlier part of the Wikipedia was wrong, I guess.
Well, this is why you never use Wikipedia as a source.
But later, I'm getting this other part from Wikipedia. It's just weird that they put it that way. So, I mean, I guess it seemed like...
It wasn't a bomb, though. Like, a bomb is like Pluto Nash bomb, where it's
absolutely.
This is it bombed... You're right, it bombed a franchise. It didn't make any more of these fucking things.
I think that's the thing, is it just ended up not making it. So the next one was going to be A Bride of Frankenstein. With Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie, yeah, that makes sense.
As the lead.
Seems weird to just jump straight to Bride of Frankenstein.
But yeah, October 5th.
And Harvey R. Bardem.
2017, they postponed it.
I think Harvey R. Bardem was going to play Frankenstein. Is that Frankenstein's monster, if I remember correctly, or maybe Frankenstein?
Oh, apparently Dracula Untold was going to be was apparently retrospectively considered the first film,
which we never saw.
But it was apparently downplayed. No, I never seen that movie.
No,
but yeah, we missed out a bunch of stuff. Ooh, The Invisible Man with Johnny Depp.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
And then your Harvey R. Bardem with the Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yep. Shame. I mean, I don't know if it's a shame because like.
It's not a shame.
I like more movies coming out, right? Like I
don't want more movies. I want better movies.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I want more better movies to come out, not mid movies. You know,
yeah.
And if this is the quality of the movie, it's fine. We didn't need this franchise, right?
No.
But it had potential. It
does.
You could have goofed it up the first time. You're just trying to, you never made a big franchise before like this. Universal, definitely not like Harry Potter or anything.
Yeah. Well, that's WB.
Oh, you're right. Why do I think it's at Universal? Oh, because at
Universal Studios. Yeah,
Universal Studios just kind of as a catch-all.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I mean, they've not done something like this in a while, so I feel they just got scared. I think they're like, ooh.
I think so. I think
they should have put out one more movie and see if it really bombed.
Yeah.
I think they really just pussied out a little too quickly.
But again, I don't think critically this was also like something people liked, which is I think the other thing is they wanted it to be successful, but they also wanted word of mouth to be good. I think too is like they wanted people to be excited for like the comings and goings of the upcoming movies.
Yeah, I think that's true. I'm trying to see what the audience score is on this movie.
It's probably pretty low. I don't think it's positive in either respect.
IMDb 5.4, not very good.
What about on Rotten Tomatoes?
I'm clicking in the Rotten Tomatoes link right now. It's the 15% for the critics, but that's fine.
Yeah,
these movies are critic proof. But it's only 35% for the audience.
Yeah, so even the audience didn't care about this.
The thing is just the characters are just bad. Like that's honestly the biggest problem with this movie.
I agree.
Is that the plot itself? It's fine. It works, but like they don't give enough levity or characterization or color to any of the characters.
Yeah, I agree.
Honestly, levity is also, I said that accidentally, but that makes sense.
True.
Too,
there's not enough like comedy here.
No, there's nothing
charm.
fun. It's just like occasionally Tom Cruise will say like a snarky one-liner, but it seems so bitter. It doesn't seem like fun.
Tom Cruise was miscast here. I think
he was.
I think they should have gotten someone who is actually charming. I think maybe like a Bradley Cooper would have been good.
Yeah, that would have probably been a good choice.
Somebody that can actually be funny. Like, I think Tom Cruise is intense. I don't think he's funny or like scrappy.
That kind of sets the whole mood of this movie being like very serious.
Yeah, exactly.
And like obviously you don't want to be like super jokey, like a Marvel movie kind of gets a bad rap for.
Yeah.
But I think there was something about like a middle ground with the charm, and that's obviously something harder to pull off.
Oh yeah.
But maybe they could have, if they had another chance, maybe they could have done something with it. You know?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. And we'll never know.
We'll never know.
But maybe, who knows? Maybe in 5 to 10 years they'll make another one of these Dark Universe movies.
Once that Dark Universe ride takes off, you're gonna get all those. Once Jenny Nicholson releases a 4-hour video about the Dark Universe, it's actually really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And a huge success, and Disney should take note.
2 years after it's closed.
2 years after it's closed. Then yeah, it would be good. Maybe we'll think about it a little bit more.
Are you guys monsters? Email us. email.podcast.com. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Yeah?
Are you guys hot monsters?
Are you hot monsters? Then maybe you should leave a 5-star rating and review.
Yeah, like
and
your
we'll
5
read it
irises.
on the show. That's right. 5 irises. Yeah, that's right. Because you got 2 brown eyes on one eye. You got 2 brown eyes in the other eye, and then you got another brown eye.
The biggest brown eye, we tell you.
That's right. Good night, everybody.
Did you even finish this spiel?
Yeah, that's fine. I said leave a 5-star rating review, and I mentioned to email us. We got it. We got it all.
All right. I know you had to end it. It was too good.
It was too good.